So hang on, this channel is called Algarve Addicts, and I'm giving you the best excuse to travel through Portugal. Shouldn't I be more focused on the Algarve? Well, yes, I should be, but this excuse was way too good to pass up. My story starts at dawn in summer 2023, and I had scaled this peak called Monsanto, and on the very summit I found a castle which was built and controlled by the Templar Knights back in the 13th century. I found a bronze plaque set into the granite rock revealing the story of Duarte d'Armas and his 2-year quest to document all the Portuguese border fortifications. He completed this book in 1509, and armed with this info, I planned out a big solo trip just for this video. It eventually took me over 1,000 kilometers and 3 full days of driving, filming, and sleeping mostly in my trusty Renault Kadjar, or car camping. Here was my route so far: São Brás del Portel, Castro Marim, Alcotim, Mertler, Serpa, Moura, the castle of Nodar, and Mourão. And this is where I woke up. Oh, good morning. I've just woken up from actually a really good night's sleep. It was surprising. And on my right hand side, you can see over there is Monserrate. And on my left back here was Mourão. And I don't know why they would make two castles so close together. If any of you guys know why Mourão and Monserrate are so close together, let me know. Because there never was this lake here before. This is Algarve. This is a brand new lake. Dam, actually, should I say. So it wasn't like this was a bridge between the two. But the Algarve Dam is a classic example of how long these massive big projects take. Because back in, the early sort of 20th century, there were ideas for a large dam in the Guadiana River Basin. But only in the 1970s were initial plans laid for the Algarve Multi-Purpose Project, what it was called. To bring irrigation, electricity generation and drinking water supply to the arid Alentejo region. And in the 1980s there were some economic challenges, so it delayed its progress. But then in the 1990s there was some political commitment, and eventually construction began in 1998 and was finished in 2002. The Algarve dams had a significant impact in the region, and it provides a stable water supply for agriculture irrigation, which has transformed the arid landscape into a fertile and productive agricultural area, which is great. And it also generates electricity and supports tourism because it's really fun to get onto this lake. You can hire a boat, you can go fishing, you can cycle around it. I've done it, and it's great. It really is wonderful. And it's also another tourism aspect of this is that it's kind of a very dark area, so you can see the most spectacular stars. So check it out. I'm heading up to Monserrate. Hopefully going to find some coffee and going and film some of that beautiful hilltop fortification. As with most of these settlements in Portugal, the Romans took over a prehistoric Castro settlement about 200 BC. And in the year 500 AD, the Visigoths took Monserrate, and thereafter the Muslims took it in 700 AD, before the Christians returned in 1167. Now, Afonso I of Portugal was the winning king. 6 years later, he lost Monserrate back to the Moors when Abu Yusuf Yaqub al-Manur handed him a beating, having taken Badajoz in 1169. Only 50 years later did Sancho II retake Monserrate in 1232 with the aid of the Knights of the Templar. Now, as I've said, the first occupation was prehistoric, but the castle proper was probably constructed in 1276 and reconstructed in 1312. And obviously, during the Moorish occupation, there were some fortifications as well. So like most castles, it's a gradual expansion and reconstruction and, fortification over the years. Now, I could walk around Monserrat all day, but we've got to get on with this. So let's liven it up a bit. "25 minutes north and I came across the Castle of Terena, which has been a national monument since 1946, but it was built in the early 13th century. Terena Castle is a part of a line of castles that include Elvas, Castle of Juramenya, and the Castle of Alentejo. And this was a part of King Denis's interest to consolidate his kingdom's frontiers. I should say King Denis, who succeeded his father in 1279, and he was often called the Farmer King, actually, or the Poet King. Finally, it was coffee time in Alentejo as I sat down to enjoy my galão escuro and watch the town folk break down the festival that had recently happened. Everything was going absolutely swimmingly until... I ventured into this construction area.
Bom dia.
Bom dia. Não, isso não pode ser feito, está a ver a placa ali à porta.
Aonde?
Aí. Isto está interdito aqui a
Ah, é? Ok, mas só preciso dizer, não faz mal, pá.
Clearly, I played the dumb tourist. Essentially, the guy was telling me that I was not allowed to be there, and hadn't I seen the sign, and he was really aggressive, and I just responded in a nice, light-hearted way, which is the best way to be.
Não é por ali.
There was a stiff breeze blowing across from Spain as I arrived at this architectural marvel. It's a fascinatingly formidable fortress guarding the strategic crossing of the Guadiana River. And it's witnessed years and years of history from... It was conquered in the beginning by King Afonso Henriques in 1167, retaken by the Moors, finally secured by Paio Perez Correa in 1242. And this fortress has witnessed pivotal moments in Portugal's history. The post-Restoration War, it faced trials including Spanish occupation and survived the 1755 earthquake. It was apparently abandoned in 1920, but it's being renovated into a hotel, so look out for a nice boost in tourism to the area. Well, welcome to Elvas. Now, they're just castles as far as I can see here, everywhere, forts and fortifications. And this one was right on the northwestern corner of Elvas. And as I bring the camera back with this drone view, you can actually see the massive size of this garrison border town. So basically, it's actually described as a garrison border town of Elvas and its fortifications. And it's a World Heritage Site since the 30th of June 2012. But now look at this image, and you can see the actual borders of this town, and it's massive. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a castle this large. It's not essentially a castle. It's like they said, it's a castle, and then there's fortifications around it. And then just below as well, there's another fortification or another fort. So there's lots to see at Elvage. Plus, there's massive aqueduct as you drive out. It's quite phenomenal. I didn't enjoy my time here that much because I stepped in dog poo. But you know, that was my fault. So this is Campo Maior, and it was the site of a massive battle, and a lot of actually quite modern battles like in the 1800s. But it's actually amazing because I've done so many castles today. This is the 5th one, and I thought I was going to do 3 a day. Spain's right here, and this is Cape Portugal, Portugal. Tragedy struck Campo Maior in 1732 during a storm when lightning struck the castle's keep that stored the gunpowder's reserve. And this has happened in quite a few castles, that there's been accidents, but lightning striking the gunpowder, wow. And apparently 84 tons of gunpowder, 4,800 grenades and other ammunition exploded simultaneously, and it destroyed 1,076 houses in the town. The rest were left without a roof, and no person was left unharmed. Wow. So 256 people were killed and over 2,000 were injured. That is a massive catastrophe. It's really sad. Skipped around the Alentejo this afternoon, and it wasn't that amazing. I knew it wasn't going to be that amazing as before, but the castles to the north, wow, I was excited about those, but that's going to be for another time. So this afternoon I went around Ugela, Aronches, Assumar, Montfort, and then I went back to the lake near Campo Maior and spent the night there. So that's where I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to play you out with a few drone shots of these places. As I said, they're not that amazing. They're just villages. A lot of the castles aren't that prominent. And then I headed back down over the next day, down through Évora, Estremoz, and a little place called Veiros. So I may put that in another video, but it's for another time. And this series, I will continue at a later stage. The whole idea of this video was an excuse to go through Portugal, and obviously, you guessed it, my excuse were castles. And I've got this whole map of 62 of those castles that I talked about. I've only done 20. There's another 42 to explore. So you can go and do this yourself. Download the map in the description, check it out, and it'll be easy. So I just want to help you guys. But like I said, I'm not moving back to the Algarve. I'm refocusing on the Algarve a lot more and making much more Algarvian videos. So next week, we're getting into the digital nomad communities in the Algarve, seeing what makes them tick, what their pains and problems are, and how vibrant they are. And it's really exciting. And there's a general, much bigger community video that I'd like to make. But my problem is that all these communities are really small and they're all over the Algarve. So if you know of any communities in the Algarve that you've connected with, whether it's a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group or whatever it is, just drop them in the comments and I'll put them all into a document, and hopefully we'll try and keep that up to date. Or it'll just be as of now. And then, because these things change all the time. So that's what I struggle with. But anyway, see you next week and have a fantastic week. I'm off to Scotland for a few days, actually. All right. See ya.
AlgarveAddicts.com.